Hi, I'm Kevon Owen, and this is Holly Shockley, and we're counselors, and sometimes in counseling we get some of the same questions over and over, and this thing keeps happening with parents who buy their kids these cell phones because everyone's got one and you need one for school and for sports, and then that cell phone grows into a monster that changes their kids. How do we help navigate that?
Yeah. So obviously cell phones are in our world and I think they're here to stay. So we need to know how we use them in ways that are beneficial to us without them being something that we're addicted to, which I think this is not just for kids, but it's also for adults. And so I think sitting down with kids either before you buy the cell phone, when you buy the cell phone, or when you realize a year later that the cell phone's gotten out of control, sitting down, creating some boundaries with the cell phone, when it's appropriate to use it, when it's not appropriate to use it, how do we use it, what kinds of apps need to be on it. I think parental controls are a huge thing that we need to be doing on all kids' cell phones. You don't hand a kid something and just say, have at it. We need to be informed and understanding what they're looking at and what they're viewing. So I think a lot of communication with cell phones. It's not just a one and done, here you go, have at it. It's a lot of communication around those phones. And I really, like I said in the beginning, think it's something beneficial for adults as well as kids.
My kids don't make a lot of money, and really, if they had a phone, really, I would buy them that phone. And if that phone had service, I would be paying for that phone. And so essentially speaking, that's my phone that you're holding. And so parents, you're allowed to open that phone. You're allowed to look in that phone. I've had parents ask me if they're allowed to take their kid's phone.
Right.
Sure you are. Take it away. If it's causing them a problem, if they had a toy that was causing them to stay up late or to become irritable or wildly emotional about what's happening at school, you wouldn't have a lot of questions. But with a phone, it's not off limits to remember that's your phone that they're using.
Right, I agree. And, I've had parents too come in and just say, my kid is on their phone all night long. And I wonder why the kid has the phone in the bedroom. So putting that phone charging in a, communal space within your home is really important. That also gives you an opportunity to, if it rings or if there's a text message, then you have some oversight in what's happening with the phone because it does belong to you, as opposed to this is my child's phone. They get full usage of it. They get, without any kind of boundaries with it. I don't think that you can negate the research that we have that kids are more anxious and more depressed in the last 10 years than they have been in generations before. Obviously, it's not linear. There's a lot of things that contribute to that, but usage of phones, especially with social media, all through the hours of the night is, it's not a good thing for our kiddos.
It's really not. Before 2007, there was kind of a larger line than it should be, but a large line demonstrating what teen suicide was. In 2007, there was a sharp spike that has not stopped spiking. It's going up. 2007, they also released the iPhone, which had apps, which brought apps into our handheld day-to-day life where we're perpetually connected, but not really connected, meta-connected, and becoming more and more anxious and unhappy. So is there a causation here? Probably. I'd say most research would support that. And so if you had this dangerous thing that was causing your kid to become more anxious and more depressed, what would you do? You're allowed to do whatever you want. Can I take my kid's phone? Sure. Whenever I was a kid, 100 years ago, cell phones weren't exactly what they are now. And we turned out fine. We didn't have our phones everywhere. What if I need to get a hold of my kid? How did your parents get a hold of you? Of course, there's a generation watching this video that probably had cell phones, but there's also a generation that didn't. Right. And they're still here. So obviously you can survive with this. You can take that away. The other thing with cell phone usage is you have these little mirrors that you created that are watching the way you use your phone, the way you check your phone, the where and how, and what are you modeling for them?
Yeah, that's great.
If you need any more help figuring out how to help your kid navigate the cell phone problem because it's not going away and they are going to need the tools to get through that, give us a call.